Well, this is fairly embarrassing. So, I was sitting around midway through my second fairly stiff rum and coke, and I felt like I was forgetting something. And then I realized, oh shit, it's Saturday. I have a stream to do. I've been distracted all day. Anyway, let's kind of, as you can see, I have an actual, like, painting of it. This is not mine. This thing that you're looking at here, this is not my work. This is Claude Monet. This is olive trees in the Medford Garden, I think. Yeah, I think that's what it is. Olive trees in the Medford Garden. God damn it, this is going to drive me nuts. I got to go check. Monet. Olive trees. Moreno. The Moreno Garden. Olive trees in the Moreno Garden. Medford is that town in Oregon that has the buttery smooth concrete. Fantastic transitions. They got an amazing skate park down in Medford, Oregon. Or at least they did 20 years ago. Holy shit, 20 years. Oh God. I have been drinking, as you could probably guess, and I'm going to continue drinking because fuck it. Oh, wait. Grove of olive trees in Bordighera. Oh, that's nice. Anyway, the reason that I'm looking at Monet's picture of olive trees, and here's the olive trees in Bordighera. I have, amazingly enough, not seen this one for some reason, and this is there are some similarities. I can probably talk about that a little. So why am I looking at Monet and why am I looking at olive trees? I have improved my my art library with 3 new books, all by Jack Ham. How to Draw Animals, which I had as a teenager, and I got this because it's only a matter of time before I have to draw some furry shit, so I may as well be prepared for that. Then there's drawing the head and figure, because, you know, obviously if I'm going to learn how to draw animals from somebody, he's probably going to fall back on his human anatomy stuff. But most importantly, there's drawing scenery, landscapes and seascapes. This is something I've really been wanting to put some time into. And you may recall during the first season of Sketch Weekly, I invested some time in this and trying to paint rocks and trying to paint skies and mountains and shit. And that's something that's been much on my mind of late. I remember when I first started the Sketch Weekly streams, I used to experiment and play around with shit, and I would make meaningful progress over the course of the stream. That doesn't seem to happen anymore. And I don't think a whole lot has changed, so I tend to look at that as I am probably doing something wrong that I used to do better and stopped for some reason. I don't know what. I don't know why. But I think that's it. I think that's what's going on. And I think part of it is I'm in a hurry. I want to do cool shit. I don't want to do boring shit and look like an idiot on stream, but I am an idiot, so I have to look like an idiot on stream, otherwise I'm just full of shit. I don't know what the fuck I'm doing, but and that's important. Do we have splitter windows here? Can we do split window? That would be nice. Timeline. All sides. Okay. Window. Very split horizontal workspace. Let's see if there's a way I can split the workspace. Canvas, new window, cascade, tiled. Now they do this thing down here. You can split the layer palette. There doesn't seem to be a way to do that here with the main work area, which makes it difficult to put these side by side. So, fuck it. We will create a new image because I always work in very high resolution. These are just copied off of the web, so. All right, so we'll take this guy. Oh. Where's my move? Move layer. There it is. Okay. Let's move this guy over here. And we'll transform. And we'll pull it out to about half of the space. And then we'll do the same thing with the other side. We'll pull that out to half. You know, as you can see, the aspect ratios are a little different. There's nothing I can do about that. But let's zoom in a little bit so I can get a better view on this guy. Okay, so the reason that I'm looking at Monet's olive trees is because olive trees have a particular quality to them that I like. They're kind of craggy and twisted, and they look interesting, and I've always sort of liked that. So I was looking at Monet's picture of olive trees, and the reason I want to look at this other one is because they are similar but not the same. That's what really caught my eye on this. I would say that the olive trees in the Moreno garden is a better picture than the olive trees at Bordigary. It's Bordigary. I've been drinking. Anyway. So I've been looking at these because I've been looking at, and this is one of the things that I love about books as opposed to videos, is that, like, you open up Drawing the Head and Figure, and it has immediately, on page 1, Drawing the Head. Drawing the Head is the first thing that jumps straight into, okay? You go to How to Draw Animals. You go immediately to page 1, and what you find is the 7 steps of drawing a greyhound. And it is kind of the stuff where it's just like, draw a circle, draw the rest of the greyhound. but on drawing scenery in particular, the author starts off saying, here are the different kinds of choices you have for canvases. How do you choose the kind of canvas that you're going to work on? And for 20 pages, is it 20? Might just be 19. Well, he goes beyond 20, but he goes, you know what? There's only 2 pages on that, so what we actually end up with is that before he gets to actual tree trunks and how to draw trees, how to draw this, how to draw that, I don't know. That, no, it's, okay, I would say he kind of deals with that starting on page 24. So the first 23 pages of the book, okay, once you get past the contents, he spends talking about, yeah, I'll just read you the tops of the pages here, because it's an easy way to create content. Choosing a bounded space for a scene, commanding the observer's attention, the relation of boundaries to the interior, the focal point, the focal area, the ways of dividing space, the principles of good space division, creating a travel experience for the eye, charting the eye's course, principles that help in scenery drawing and painting, relating 3 shapes, one to the other, the principle of the 3s, telling the picture story, the entering point in a picture, follow through in a picture, depth perception, interior parenthesis, overcoming the blank page, more on good space division, he has parenthetically. Comprehension factors in a picture, coactive follow-through, experiment in comprehension, emotional response. All of this is just general artistic instruction that is included in this drawing scenery book. And a lot of that stuff is kind of interesting to see laid out, because it's not that I don't know these things. It's that seeing it all kind of elucidated in the way that it is can be illuminating, because you sort of, oh man, I have had too much to drink to be streaming. Shit happens. Fuck it. But anyway, what I was getting at here, I was talking to my mother about different images, about different stuff, and she asked me what I thought of Monet's olive tree. She said, "What do you think of this picture?" I said, "Well, that's Monet, isn't it?" And she said, "Yes, it is. It's the olive trees of Moreno." And this caught my dad's attention, because my dad is very kind of art focused. He has an art history education. He's very knowledgeable about art. He used to be a painter, but when he went into the military, when he went into the Air Force, he worked on a flight line during the Vietnam War, and he lost a lot of his hearing. And having lost much of his hearing, he couldn't concentrate. The tinnitus and the ringing in his ears prevented him from being able to think clearly enough to conceptualize a painting, and it's also completely ruined his ability to try to play music. He has like no real understanding of tone. A lot of stuff he just can't hear tones effectively, and that's kind of his own private hell. And even though he never went to Vietnam and never fought, spending all of that time on the flight line in Guam fixing the electronics for the planes, that ruined his idea of what the thrust of his life was. He was going to be an artist. He was going to be a sculptor. He was going to play music, maybe even start a band. He never got to do any of that because This time on the flight line fucked up his ears. And anyway, it caught my dad's attention that I actually recognized Monet. My dad, you know, it's a boomer thing, okay? Boomers with Gen X, your dad always thinks you don't know shit. You're a complete fucking idiot. Basically, like, looks at you perpetually as the moron child he had to deal with when you were like 5 and 6 years old. Or at least mine does. Piece of shit chair, I swear to God. But it caught his attention that I recognized Monet. And I was talking to my mother about this picture, and I said, you know, the thing about Monet, the genius of Monet, is that he leads your eye through the picture, because typically your eye will enter a picture. Let me get a new layer on here. Two merge layers. Okay, so I'm gonna get a bright white brush because you'll see. Bright line brush. So typically, your eye will enter a picture at the bottom left. Okay? And upon entering at the bottom left, it will scan for the largest object it can see. It will scan for the largest identifiable item, which in this case is this tree right here. Then it looks for the next available item. So it kind of goes in order from the largest then down to the smallest. But in this case, even though this tree is a little bit larger, it kind of blends into the background. So the next focal point is this, and now the inertia of this carries your eye, because it's come over here and then bounced back, it wants to bounce again and move in here. Now the important thing about this is, while Monet hasn't specifically said it, there's an open clearing. And what you're doing in this particular image is you're moving from a space of relative shadow into the light. And you can see that there's a path here. But that path leading up into the distance there, it leads over this little rise. And what you can see is that here we have all of these bluish greens, which are darker, and they're closer to us. But out here we have all these yellowish greens. And those yellowish greens are more sunlit. And by kind of bracketing that yellowish green with these darker bluish greens, it leads you forward, and it has this kind of shape to it. So it pulls you deeper into the painting. And what I was pointing out to my mother was that while I can see this and appreciate it in someone else's work, I can see the contours, I can see the focal points and what they're trying to do and how they're trying to lead the eye and the various little techniques that they use. It's very difficult for me to just look at a blank canvas and think of something like this. This is not something I feel like I could have designed. She was telling me that she really liked this picture, and we were going back and forth about it. And I was talking about how you analyze it, and I was saying that one of my biggest issues is, when you look at this, you understand that here, this is grass and flowers and kind of unkept woodland. This is grass and flowers. This is a sort of dirt embankment. And this path right here, there are little bits of fallen leaves on the path. There's this color language here, okay? And it really kind of provides this sense that what you're seeing here is not detail, but the effect of the detail. It's indistinct, but you can tell what it is. And I'm very bad at that. And one of the reasons that Monet was considered one of the great Impressionist painters is he's very good at it. And I'm not. It's something that I can look at somebody else doing and I can appreciate it. But I don't feel any ability on my own part to compose a picture like this. I could paint a tree trunk like that. I could paint tree leaves like that. It wouldn't even be all that difficult. It'd be even easier if I used custom brushes. But to design that path through the, design that path that leads the eye through the image and kind of pulls you along the path and into this clearing. And even the thing where you conceptualize, you're coming out of this shadowed grove of trees into a clearing, into the sunlight, is conceptualizing that and thinking that would be a good picture. That's not something I'm likely to do. And that's subtly different from training your eye, because I've trained my eye to see these things and to recognize them and to go, I see what's going on here. But I haven't trained my, my ideation. I haven't trained my ability to have ideas so that when I have ideas, they're ideas like this. And that's very frustrating. I would like to train that part of my artistic talent somehow. And I'm not sure how. And I've never seen anybody talk about it. I mean, maybe there are people who talk about having aphantasia, where they can't envision things in their heads, where they can't see pictures in their mind when they think about stuff. If they imagine an apple, they do not see an apple at all. They don't see anything. And when I've read these people talking about stuff, I just kind of scratch my head and I go, well, your mind's eye is an expression. It's like when I imagine an apple, I don't get one specific apple in mind. I get like this rotating array of, an apple could be any number of different things, but most of them are like this. And when people talk about what happens in their head if they envision something, some people say, I see one perfect apple, every bit as real as if it were in front of me and I could touch it. And there are people that go, I see kind of a vague idea of an apple. And other people are like, I see an iconic representation, like a cartoon. And then there are people that go, I don't see anything. You can't see with your head. There's no eyes in there. You don't have an eye in your brain. There's nothing to see. And this is kind of the other mind's problem in philosophy. You don't actually know what other people are experiencing. When people say, oh, I see this in my mind's eye, do people really mean that? Like, are they simulating vision in their head? Because I don't really simulate anything. It's not vision, and it's not, some people say, I see the word apple. I see a description of an apple, or I hear a description of what an apple is. And that's weird. The idea that you imagine an apple and somebody says, picture an apple. The apple has these qualities. That's very weird. But the thing that goes on in my head when I imagine something isn't vision or hearing or anything. It's just, it's different. I don't know how to explain it because I don't think there are words for it. But I see these videos from people that have aphantasia, and part of me is like, maybe I have aphantasia and I don't know it. I had heartburn my whole life. Didn't know what it fucking was. People always talk about heartburn as being a burning sensation. I've always experienced it as cold. It's like a freezing sensation, which is the opposite of heartburn. It can't possibly be heartburn. And then one day I described it to somebody and they were like, that's heartburn. That's what heartburn feels like. I'm just fucking stupid. And that's one of the underpinnings of my philosophy. We're all stupid about almost everything. You may be smart about one or two things, but that's it. I'm living proof of that. I've been doing this fucking weekly streaming for 2 years. And I still suck at art. I like Impressionists because you can see the brush strokes. You can reverse engineer how they did stuff. See that, you can see that, like right here, we started with a brown. This brown isn't as dark, obviously. But then, to put the highlights on it, use something very light, and the brush strokes went up. It's an upward brush stroke. Similarly, it's like this trunk that comes up over here. You've got this, this bit here. And he works the brush strokes upward. And as he works them upward, you see the shape of the tree coming forward. And you notice that all of his lighting is on the underside and on the right. And you can see from how the brush stroke thins out here that it's an upward brush stroke. And that's fairly easy to reverse engineer. And that's why I like Impressionism, because it kind of shows you, here's somebody who's just very rapidly putting down a notion of a tree. And that notion of a tree that he puts down, it's like what you find is that the painters start in areas of strong color and work to areas of weak color because of the dynamics of paint. You start with a lot of paint on your brush and you end up with just a little paint on your brush. So you want to start out where the color is going to be bold, like here, and you want to work upward where it's going to thin out and disappear. And over here, you can see that he's done it in both directions. He's gone up over here, and he's gone down over here. God, this entire fucking stream is just incoherent. Anyway, I was going to talk about the Diggory. Diggory. Bo and Luke Diggory. Just some good old boys. Never meaning no harm. This has a lot of similar elements. You can see over here we've got an embankment, and over here we've got kind of a cliff, and we've got kind of a path that runs off into the distance. And here you could see that he's got the lighting on the trees is a little bit different. It's up on the top here. It's up on the top and on the still on the right. We've got lighting on the right and we've got lighting on the top. I wonder why he went with lighting on the bottom. I think he did that to emphasize the darkness of the space. But here you have the same basic thing. Here, eye enters from the left side of the screen, and it moves to the next largest thing, and then back over here. And it does this kind of reverse Z. But in this image, it doesn't do it as cleanly. I feel like, was this image done earlier? I feel like this may have been done earlier, and he learned more about his craft in the interim. Monet, Olive, Bowdiggery. That was 1884. And those are both in 1884. Which one was done when? Hey, olive trees. Can I find an article about that? Is there an article talking about his olive tree paintings? He also did palm trees. Bordighera. Bowdiggery! Huh. He's done a number of olive tree paintings. Most of them in 1884. Wonder. Commercialization of the internet has made it so difficult to find actual information about anything. Here we go. Claude Monet's Encounter with the Mediterranean, Part 1. Apparently he just did a whole lot of work along the Italian Riviera. In his letters, Monet spoke of his ambivalence about the Mediterranean, at times expressing his fascination for its exotic features, at others fearing that his paintings were not good enough or that no one would understand or appreciate them. He did 45 paintings between January and April. 45 paintings. "65 by 81 centimeters. That is in inches. That is In inches, that is about 26 by 32. Huh. These are about the same size as my anime wall scrolls, or my Cradle of Filth hangings. I don't know what they call those. They're made of fabric, but they're not flags. Anyway, I don't know which of these came first. My gut says this one came first because it seems like this one is better. That sense of not being good enough, the fear that nobody will understand or appreciate your work, that seems to be fairly important in art. I think every great artist has had it. Well, every shitty artist has had it too, but shitty artists are afraid you'll never understand or appreciate their art because their art sucks. Oh, nobody will ever understand my work. It's because your work is garbage. That's where I'm going to be. They're going to be burying me and they're going to say he drew anime titties for years. The fuck is wrong with that? Way more rum than I should be drinking. Anyway, what I'm kind of getting at here, I've been putting in a substantial amount of work on just kind of being able to shade things. And I love this. They have this thing called the selection pen in Clip Studio Paint. And it's like, excuse me. You just, excuse me. You just draw your selection. You just kind of go over the thing that you want to select. Like if I wanted to select this tree, and you just kind of come in here and go, yeah, yep, right up in here, right up in here, trace along it. And you can do a fairly complex selection like that. You just go, yeah, let's copy that. Copy it. Layer, paste it. Come over to move layer, and look at that. We just carved out that selection just like that. I think that is absolutely amazing. It's a really useful tool. And I've been using it to kind of rough out certain shapes. You get an outline, and then you just need to filter that in. Fill it in like that. So if I get this kind of lozenge like this, what I've been doing is, and coming in and going, okay, let's grab a skin tone real quick. Put on my glove. Don't get crap all over my screen. I forgot to clean my screen today. Oh my God. I'm forgetting everything. I'm drunk. Well, let's see. Is that a good skin tone? That's a good skin tone. We can just jack that up and just go. Yeah, we don't need that. And let's come over here to over here to our selection again. We'll go to move selection, that bit. And we'll go back to our brush. Okay, so I got this cell shade brush, and what I can do is I can go more saturated and darker, and I can just go really big and just kind of paint into that. And you can see it's not making a big difference. And because it's a cell shading brush, it's got a hard edge. Okay? But then I switch over to my soft shade, and I can smooth that in. And then on top of that, I can come over here and I can go, okay, so let's add a highlight right here. So I've done a certain amount of work on that. But I'm still not really happy with it. Not pleased results per se. But I do have the tools to do some rudimentary shading, and I've done some practice with that over the past week. I'm just not happy with it. I'm not happy with anything. Never happy. And I don't know, looking at Monet is just really kind of, it's underscored that I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. There's much more of a journey in this image than that. Kind of that journey that leads you into the clearing. Whereas with this one, it just kind of enter from the left, you scan across, and then it just pulls over to the path. It's very basic. It's very simple. If he did this one first, as I suspect, I wonder if he did this one to improve upon it. I wonder if that was the expectation. There's very clearly a kind of a cobblestone thing going on there. Whereas over here, it's all little mounds of leaves. You can kind of see that. Here you got flower, flower. Those read as flowers. These read as little piles of leaves. This is clearly just dirt. You got fallen leaves at the bottom of the tree, base of the tree. And also some bare dirt. And there's the bare dirt path. Not the detail, but the effect of the detail. Like people say, when you're drawing a brick wall, don't draw every single brick. Don't go down and, every single brick in the wall. Kind of do a little bit of brick there and a little bit of brick over here. And just by showing a little bit of the brick texture at these different spots, you do that little bit there and that little bit there, and people will just automatically fill in, well, obviously the whole thing's bricks. I'm not very good at that. That's a thing I need to work on. That's a thing I need to look at. That's a thing I need to understand. This fucking bullshit chair keeps dropping down. I look over here and my chin is at the bottom of the screen. What the fuck is going on? It's a shit Chinese gamer chair. Oh my god. It wasn't even that much cheaper. It cost $120. I could have gotten a decent one for $180. I should just pick up one of those executive leather office chairs at Costco or some such shit. I used those for years and they're great. I've been having a lot of conversations with people about machine art lately. And I'm just really, really frustrated that people are blaming the camera for the pictures people are taking. And it's very frustrating. And it's, God. Talking to a guy earlier today, he seemed reasonably intelligent, and then at one point he just went, the real question is how we defeat capitalism, and I'm like, oh, fuck you, and I blocked him. I don't want to get all political and shit. That's the gateway to me talking about Israel and Palestine, and trust me, you don't fucking want that. But the whole idea that your problems are because of capitalism overlooks the reality that all the things you want can only be had under capitalism. You don't get to have those under any other economic system. That's not how it works. Now, far be it from me to suggest anybody actually fucking read Ayn Rand. Because she'll rot your fucking brain. But the blunt reality is, Ayn Rand lays out that if you want to have anything for yourself, anything at all, you need capitalism. Under communism, nothing belongs to you. It belongs to the community, and somebody will decide who needs it most and give it to them. And the funny thing is, whoever you put in charge of deciding who gets what, the first person to get everything is them. And then it's their friends and their relatives. And that's all well and good if you're one of their friends or relatives. But if you're not, if the new world order is not going to be led by your friend or relative, you're going to get fucked. You're going to get fucked just as hard as you do under capitalism. But under capitalism, you have this wonderful little escape hatch. And that escape hatch is, you can just opt the fuck out. I have. I've opted out of this bullshit. I don't work for anybody anymore. I don't have clients anymore. My job is to do all the garbage my parents can't do for themselves anymore because they're elderly and they're both cancer survivors and they can't do shit. Like tomorrow I have to pull a bunch of sunflowers for my mother because she can't do it. Pulling sunflowers is too much work for her. And it's like, I'm going to go out there and grab each of these sunflowers and go yoink, and there's like a dozen of them, so I'll be done in 2 minutes. But She can't do that. And she feels like it needs to be done. And eventually she will get to a point that she can't plant the new sunflowers for next year. Now I'll have to start doing that. And that's fine. It's a good deal. You know, I mean, they're my parents. I need to pitch in. I need to help them out and all that sort of crap. But I'm so goddamn tired of working for people that didn't know what the fuck they were doing. You get somebody who hires you and they say, tell me what to do. You say, do this. And they go, yeah, I don't want to. And then they don't do it. And then they come back to you and they hire you again. And they go, I didn't do what you said. I did something else instead. Fix it. Or you go and you work for somebody and they say, write up a report on your recommendations. And you spend a week researching and looking into things. And you go, here's what we should do. And they go, well, I think I'm going to hire my brother. Your brother doesn't know what the fuck he's doing. But why are you hiring your brother for anything? Your brother's never been good at anything. Your brother is a low-grade moron. He's a grifter. How many pyramid schemes and MLM programs has he been involved in? Wasn't he trying to sell you NFTs just a few months ago? Like, even after the crash? Oh, but he's my brother, and people are so fucking stupid. They're so absolutely goddamn stupid. They ask for your recommendation. You give them your recommendation. They do something else. Why do they do something else? No reason. I've had way too much to drink. I'm speaking way too freely. You're not supposed to do this on YouTube. You're not supposed to do this at all. This is socially unacceptable. I would just talk this way all the fucking time. I really would. I would be equally racist tomorrow. Anyway, I've been looking a lot at Monet's olive trees and thinking about them and recognizing that there is something special in them that I do not have yet. And that last word is the most important, yet. I understand that I can develop this. I just don't know how. I always kind of thought the important thing is, like, you develop your eye so you can see what's going on, and you develop your technique so you can make a thing happen. But there's this step in the middle where you have to conceive of what you want to happen and what that is going to look like. I don't entirely know how to do that. I cannot imagine painting something as effective as either of these Monet paintings. I just can't. Cannot imagine myself creating something like this from scratch. I could copy these and probably not even do that bad a job. I could do something derivative of them and it would probably look pretty decent. But any decent artist would look at whatever it was that I did and recognize that it's just not that good, that it's a copy of somebody else's work, that it's an effort to recreate something I do not fully understand. I see that a lot in software. I see that a lot in business decisions, management. It's frustrating being on the other side of that fence. And knowing that in this realm, in this domain, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. And the people that do are just worlds beyond what I can even understand they're trying to do. There's depth in these paintings that would not be in a painting I did. And it's not because I can't see it. The ability to see something and to recognize it when you see it. I mean, it's every critic kind of spotlights this. You can see how well something has been done and still not be able to do it anywhere near that well yourself. Anyway, we're closing up on the hour mark. I have finished this particular rum and coke. And I'm going to go ahead and end the stream. I know it hasn't been very good. Actually, it probably... People always tell me that when I'm drunk, I do good work. Yeah, I should drink more. Wouldn't that suck? How many artists have completely destroyed themselves because they think they can only good work when they're intoxicated? Anyway, do the little YouTube dance. Like, comment, subscribe, hit the little bell icon. Do all of that happy horse shit. Make YouTube happy. I am going to go get some coffee. Probably drink some water because I'm going to be hungover as fuck in the morning. I get philosophical when I'm drunk. Some people get depressed when they're drunk, and some people get friendly when they're drunk. I get philosophical. Think about shit. Talk about shit. Okay, bye.